In this video, I'll be covering the match between TSM and Evil Geniuses on Playdate 9 of Season 10 of the NA Pro League. Evil Geniuses bans Jackal, very oppressive on Coastline. If we take a look at the overhead of Coastline as a map, Courtyard makes running through the kind of donut that is Coastline difficult because he can see all the footprints in this blue highlighted area. So Jackal is a very strong ban on Coastline, always oppressive, but on Coastline maybe even more so. On this map because it is difficult, and at least goes one of those. Next ban is Nomad. So TSM on Coastline last week banned Nomad on Consulate. Nomad is also very oppressive as an attacking operator. She shuts down, rotates. These two bans indicate that it'll be a lot easier for roamers to move throughout the map. So Gridlock becomes more powerful because she replaces Nomad, and Lion and Dokkaebi also help with roam clear in replacing Jackal. We saw the Valk ban last week as well on Consulate, and Maestro is Evil Geniuses ban. So IQ is still required because you have Echo in play. Valkyrie was banned. Coastline is one of the few maps where a hard breacher is really not needed, but they're bringing Kabata anyway. We'll see how they use it. I think this 6-pick from the Mira onto Pulse is very strong. What I like even more than that is I've seen bits of the VOD, and I know EG will 6-pick from Pulse onto other operators. I think that's such a strong 6-pick. Showing the Pulse initially will make teams think that, you know, the floor is lava, sort of, and might force a clear underneath when that Pulse no longer exists. So look forward to that. Let's see if there's an adjustment from TSM on the attacking side because of the Mira. There is not. So basically TSM is saying the way that we're going to counter your Mira is through vertical play. The thing is there is no Mira, so actually TSM kind of wins there and not getting fooled by the 6-pick. You know, we've seen TSM put Bolo on Twitch before. It didn't happen. So on the first floor, remember, this is a kitchen defense. They're going to reinforce the standard wall in service and kitchen, the triple into lobby. Bam, bam. There's a reinforcement, or 2 reinforcements in Sunrise Bar. This is to give the player their cover. And that's all they'll reinforce on the base, on the first floor. There is some soft destruction that is leg level on the service entrance. That's to contest the default plant in the corner by service. And also a rotation between kitchen and service in order to contest the angle onto service entrance as well. I don't think we see Evil Geniuses open any soft destruction on the kitchen wall. And teams will do this to get angles from the second floor down into site. The 2 reinforcements in Sunrise indicate a player will most likely play there, or at least try to stall the push that could come from Sunrise Bar into kitchen eventually. Then we have quite a few second floor reinforcements. So the ones that I caught were a reinforcement on the theater wall. Actually, 2 reinforcements on the theater wall. And they'll have Jaeger playing a position in theater initially at the start of the round, as I've indicated with that yellow star. I believe an additional reinforcement in VIP Lounge, and that should take us to 9 reinforcements. I couldn't find where the last reinforcement was used. The reason why Evil Geniuses is using the reinforcement on VIP Lounge is because they don't want there to be any angle established all the way through this kind. They don't want any long angles to be established throughout Coastline. So there's a long angle here through VIP. There's also a long angle that can be established into theater. And again, they're trying to cancel it out. Any of those 90 corners of Coastline are always good options for reinforcements if there's going to be a heavy roam game. Kitchen and service is a great site to roam up top. The important thing too to note is with the reinforcement strategy from Evil Geniuses, they want to contest the area in Penthouse and VIP. And that's because vertically, Penthouse and VIP are underneath or above the site. So it makes a lot of sense. You don't want that vertical pressure to be put down on your anchors. So leg level, soft destruction
because a lot of teams are playing
from the smoke.
Above now vertical control.
There is a deployable shield here in Kitchen. This is to create angles that can contest that pink sunrise bar push. But Jaeger does a lot in this round. He's stationed in theater in order to contest anyone who wants to try to take control of VIP and Penthouse and create that vertical pressure. Well, Evil Geniuses doesn't push from that side, and Jaeger will rotate quite a lot at this round.
When you're looking at like the 5 at the top, I'm like, who the heck
Always good to
is
open up that Penthouse window. It creates a lot of pressure
Definitely is one of the
into
players that
Penthouse.
changes his name pretty frequently. He does have an opportunity to play with those yokai.
Jaeger has rotated into luggage.
It also means like Geo himself can be spotted out. The pests can be spotted out a bit more. So a lot of utility can come from
And Jaeger will
so
continue to
can't just
rotate
rely on
over
commando.
to
Speaking of
Aqua.
hunting the pulse as
Merc is droning for
so there's that
Pojo
duo.
and Bolo on the IQ and Habana, who are trying to pinch the player in pink.
Roam or
The drone gets shot, and then Merc tries to take control of Hookah without anyone or without there being any intel on who might be around Hookah or Vase. So
roam clear /
anyway, Ash entries into Hookah, and NBK Mozzie is there to greet him.
You were talking about
The pinch that TSM was trying to establish with Pojo on Habana and Bolo on IQ into Pink Bar on the Pulse fades away because now Habana is trying to refrag Merc on the Ash.
to rush into Hookah.
Definitely a good start. We saw Merc.
So
really strong
Bolo
one day.
is solo
I think that
pushing
hurt the team a bit.
Yeah.
Already
with
starting out
seemingly
without
no
Day,
one
so
droning for him.
I think Merc's just gonna
And
have to find his
Pojo
stride
is
here,
on a
otherwise
solo
he's gonna
mission
have
to
be the
clear
Bolo
out
again.
And even
to refrag.
with him
They rotate now IQ
struggling
up into Hookah to help with
against,
the refrag.
right? Which is pretty impressive, gotta say. Jaeger hiding.
And Jaeger is now supporting Mozzie in billiards. So there are those two roamers. Again, Jaeger started in theater as a way to contest anyone dropping into Penthouse. He's now in billiards.
Could potentially have his barrel exposed here. He's got to be careful. Necrox will refrag.
So Pojo on Habana finally gets the kill onto Mozzie.
DK who gets taken out in the hallway.
But they don't know that there is another player in Jaeger who's situated in billiards.
Drone for Modigas.
Smoke. So Smoke must have rotated up blue
In the
stairs and
hallway,
got the
Yokai
frag
drone
onto
coming into
the
drone
IQ.
for Modigas, so he can rotate. He's got options
Yeah, that's what
here.
happened.
Information being called out.
And
He can get a free
now
kill onto this Buck, and he's going
Modiga
to be
gets the
indeed
kill
a
on
onto
Buck
G.
because they didn't know that
Sees the
Jaeger was
coming in
playing
from
that
the
position.
balcony, and TSM
Alright, star for Mozzie, star for Jaeger, star for Smoke, star for IQ, star for Habana, star for Buck. So Habana somehow gets the kill onto Mozzie. IQ steps into the Vase area, and it just so happens that Smoke has pushed up and gets the frag onto IQ. Buck, in the meantime, has moved into this hallway in order to support with this clear, but doesn't know the positioning of the Jaeger, and so Jaeger gets the frag onto Buck. The Smoke has left any kind of danger, and Habana moves on to the Hookah deck. What happened here is, one, a lack of intel about the Jaeger as well as the Smoke. So TSM thought that they were engaging in a 3v1 pinch when it was actually a 3v3, and they didn't know all the angles that EG was coming from. So just a lack of droning in that pinch. I really think that the focus should have been the Pulse. I don't know if the hatch and hookah is opened or not, but if it wasn't, then there wasn't much support from EG to help the pulse.
So they've lost other entry.
The round is over.
Have to work their way towards Aqua.
EG can trade out with mistakes.
Strong advantage of falling back or playing it safe, and look at this call coming out.
But what I think is really cool is the way that EG handles the man advantage. So they've partnered Pulse onto this blue stairs with Jaeger, who is listening to the intel given out from Pulse, who's able to scan blue, and just needs to hold this angle into blue. If TSM somehow is able to frag the Jaeger, there's still Pulse there to refrag. EG showing that Pulse and then swapping onto the Legion. Like I said before, I think Pulse is one of the strongest operators to initially show and then switch off of, because he makes attackers feel as if the floor is lava throughout the entire round until he uses the C4. And most teams will prioritize clearing out the Pulse underneath. If they're attacking underneath on a second floor defense, then you're winning, because the attackers need to eventually climb up staircases, and perspective is in your favor in that regard. Reinforcements from EG this round look like you're always going to reinforce the quad wall in courtyard. So of course that's what EG does. There's a reinforcement in VIP, 2 on site and connector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there's an 8th here on VIP. Most likely there is. And there's also 1 in theater. So once again, we're going to have a player who, Jaeger, once again, starts in theater. I couldn't find the last reinforcement, but those are those 9. Actually, I think I can figure it out. It's most likely going to be on Hookah Lounge to give an angle to deny the window repel plant or the hookah plant and play on blue stairs. Soft destruction, therefore, is going to have to be created towards blue. Some soft destruction between connector there, and then some vertical soft destruction too that maybe I didn't catch. But primarily a site reinforcement strategy from EG. So NVK disconnected from the match quite early.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to end up
So
having
Evil Geniuses is already playing at a man disadvantage with more than half the round to go. Ash is seemingly able just to climb up blue stairs and get a frag. Probably on the player and connector would be my guess as far as positioning goes. The biggest problem that round, and this might have been where NVK was supposed to play, is TSM took control of blue stairs and never lost it. There wasn't even an indicator really to alert EG that a player was coming up blue stairs. TSM is going to show Gridlock initially and then swap onto Lion with their 6th pick. The counter to Lion is of course Mute, who EG is sticking. Lion, as I mentioned earlier, is a great substitute for Jackal. I think it's interesting that EG forgoes the Echo in favor of Legion. I actually agree with the decision simply because Legion would have been able to alert the push up blue stairs last round. And as I mentioned before, TSM climbed up blue without there being any indication of them doing so, and they held the position there. Some interesting soft destruction in courtyard on a second floor defense. I'm not really sure what the idea is there. I think EG is trying to establish some kind of pressure from the courtyard donut windows onto TSM, who last round pushed through pink bar and then up blue.
If you've got experience, you can tell how much thought is put into everything each of these teams
but
do.
It works both ways because the rooftop of Coastline can look down onto those courtyard windows. So I don't really think that the soft destruction is worth it. Alright, so TSM has prioritized creating some kind of pressure on the 90 of Coastline, which is great because it's a counter to any kind of roam, or at least pressure onto any kind of roam from EG. Hibana is creating more pressure, this time into sight. I hope they highlight it. We'll highlight it with the map view. So what Hibana just opened up is the wall in VIP. We've already talked about EG reinforcing this wall on their downstairs defense, but the reason why you want to reinforce this wall is because this wall gives you an angle all the way into billiards, and you can deny so much all the way from the safety of VIP. So it's very strong, very important to reinforce, and TSM has decided to open it up and create that pressure into sight.
The E1Ds I don't think have gone out at all. As I say that, of course, there goes one.
Really good use of Hibana from TSM.
So I imagine
two players on blue. You know how you can counter that spot is if you chuck a nade from the rooftop into the drone hole that is right above both these players. The nade will drop right into the spot where the ADS is. So burn the ADS, drop a nade. 2 players for 1 nade, and maybe 2 flashes.
For this site control, Geo trying to retake up the blue stairs. A little bit of a bottleneck here.
It's also worth mentioning that this time EG has prioritized holding blue.
They have 2 players that want to get back upstairs, and Pojo Man is saying,
and that's because last round they were punished heavily for letting TSM walk up it. That being said, if TSM had repositioned and started a plant all the way in towards Aqua into billiards, EG doesn't really have a way to counter.
Or just on the diffuse plant and win the round. He'll get 1 on 2 achieved and just barely miss the angle, but
that's really unfortunate from TSM. Buck is just not in a position to support Hibana because Buck is in the other site and Hibana is planning on top of the table. TSM must have not known that the last player was Jaeger. Jaeger does not have any kind of denial from below in the form of a C4, so that's why Hibana decides to plant on the billiards table, which will provide some safety from that C4. From TSM, I am not really sure how effective the gridlock has been. I don't think I've seen a single track stinger deployed yet, and I don't think that Ash is really doing a whole lot in terms of her utility. I know Buck has created some soft destruction and angles, and I know Hibana is doing quite a bit of work as well with that pressure. IQ is necessary because of Echo, but TSM can maybe substitute the Ash and the gridlock. Well, the Ash especially because they're the Maestro's banned, and EG's not bringing operators like Castle. Maybe a substitution that TSM could do. My favorite kind of 6-pick, the Pulse, and TSM does the gridlock onto the Lion. It is interesting that EG prioritizes the barricades in security as well as lobby here. More likely than not, Echo will play in that lobby area. So we hear the Yokai drunk IQ. Evil Geniuses then most likely tells Geo to peek Hibana since they have the intel, they have the advantage from the drunk gang. Of course, because there's really only one way that a player is going to peek Bolo, and Bolo is aware of Legion's presence. All Bolo has to do is hold Legion peeking into him, and Bolo nets the kill. Too predictable. What I like a lot is TSM then shoots off the line to prevent the refrag, as Mizo notes.
Good line there to make sure they can't get the refrag on that. And of course, the Legion going down early, always good. Now if they could take down NVK.
Bug is on the solo clear. We saw Hibana create this pressure earlier, and I covered why it's so powerful. But
I mean,
I just want to reiterate that the soft destruction from Buck is being used appropriately. Echo is in main lobby. Bolo, just a second ago, was in the hallway right here.
Merc could actually just be working his way into sight.
Bolo
Will
is
take down Pojo
just
Man
super
finally.
out of
That is
position, but
exactly as you
also
said.
what happens in the feed is we see Echo gets a kill on Hibana. Don't know where Hibana was.
User down, but Merc is in
And
top.
then also Bolo tries to refrag the Hibana, but Echo's ready.
Position for Evil
That being said, Merc has crouch walked into sight,
also able to get one.
so there wasn't that intel from EG with that notification. Once again, that a player was moving. Once again, Merc was moving into position that would compromise the anchors.
Open the VIP wall towards billiards instead of just opening up above
So
sight.
Geo on Legion probably needs to put his Legion mines, his goo mines, closer to sight in order to help the team with that notification or alert. Back on a kitchen service, EG must think that they just peeked or did something incorrectly and they trust their setup.
Presence, but look at that. MVK and Modiga, instead of roaming upstairs actively, have decided to try for a retake strategy. This could work out for them, or it could cost their team the round.
Well, the big thing they've read into is the line being brought instead of the gridlock means they can retake a little.
Let's look at the positioning of TSM and EG as they try to retake. So EG is trying to retake from blue, which is in this section of the map. TSM is mostly bunched up towards the east side of the map. And because there's no kind of flank operator in the Nomad or Gridlock, this flank from EG isn't going to be detected unless there's some sort of flank drone already in place. Buck, meanwhile, is getting to work with opening up lots of soft destruction in Penthouse and VIP. Actually, I think just Penthouse at this point.
That is the right way to do these types of things. Good information from Merc is going to allow for a down through the wall onto NVK. They have a drone in Cocktail that is calling this whole flank. It's a bait from TSM, and it works out, at least to begin things. More spray through the wall, and Modiga eats some damage. MVK does not get picked up. Modiga on low way.
So, Merc on Ash is going to try to crouch walk down White Stairs. I believe that's Merc. It is Merc. And Young is holding him on White Stairs. That is a good example of why it's never good to face check.
Oh, that's two for Young, who is just
TSM was able to establish vertical control very quickly in that round, but also it's because EG gave it up. They weren't able to hold the vertical control. They were able to at least contest the players retaking vertical control. The biggest problem is that TSM had such a strong start, but then started to fall apart and face checking and giving up picks, it seemed like. Buck able to do his job, everyone else not.
And get into the building. A flawless round from Evil Genius.
Let's make a note of something that EG is doing. Most teams will do this too. Is they're creating soft destruction on the default plant spots, and that's so there's some kind of vertical pressure onto what teams are trying to do by default. It also gives a player like Jaeger or Legion, who don't have C4, additional options for preventing plant and not needing to retake horizontally, or not needing to contest horizontally, but being able to now contest vertically. Nice pinch from TSM. How does it fall apart though? Okay, let's back up. So let's look at the map. Second floor, or first floor, what TSM is trying to do is create pinches from pool entrance and outside Sunrise Bar, while the IQ Bolo pushes from blue bar. There's two players from EG, one stationed in that bar area, another one trying to sort of refrag. Bolo gets the kill onto the player who is supporting the player in Sunrise Bar, and we have to see that. I hope we see this. The player in Sunrise is able to get a frag onto the players pinching him from Sunrise. It happens in just a frame of our vision, but what what Mute decides to do is after Legion gets the kill in Sunrise, he drops Hatch from Hookah in order to support
for his team.
Legion.
It's not really his job, so now he has to adjust because of his teammates' failures. A nice double kill there for Bolo, going for the third. He knows him to be in Sunrise Bar. This could be a really easy one.
TSM is still trying to pinch this player out in Sunrise.
He just gets the timing right, and he will.
And it's just unfortunate that Bolo was able to net
Perfect
2 kills,
fire, 3 for Bolo, a 4
pushing
for
into
from
Sunrise.
behind. Oh, it's looking.
Some help vertically from that Hookah Hatch would have probably stopped this pinch. I don't know that Mute had to drop down the Hatch into
Might be too soon to call
Sunrise. I also don't think that Mute should have lost that gunfight for IQ. Meanwhile, Jaeger on, or Modiga on Jaeger is flanking.
Cannot land the shot.
All this is happening in Sunrise, which isn't the site.
The only anchor right now with a whole player. You got to remember he's
45 seconds left. You have 2 gas canisters. That means that you're going to be playing with 15 seconds left to use all your utility.
Necrox could win this. He is a player known to do so. Goes for an aggressive peek. Gets one. Eliminates the drone.
2v1. Beautiful smoke.
Here. But there he is, isolating the angle of the blue stairs, and he just barely
and just unfortunate that he can't get the frag there and turn that into a 1v1
against Bolo, but he didn't.
EG.
So, from EG, instead of the Lion, which TSM brought all the time, they bring Dokkaebi. I guess it's just the flavor of which you prefer from team to team. Lots of soft breach. Everyone except for Twitch here is a soft breacher. There's also no IQ, and that's because TSM isn't showing the echo anywhere. Heavy site reinforcements, or heavy usage of site reinforcements from TSM. There are 2 in the hallway and Hookah Lounge, 1 on Connector, 4 standard on Courtyard and Billiards, and then 2 on VIP. Because there's no hard breacher from EG, the angle that TSM was so keen on establishing from VIP into Billiards won't be opened. And I'm missing 1 reinforcement, which should be on the blue stairs of sorts. So once again, very dedicated to site. I typically think that site reinforcements, or reinforcing on-site, makes a lot more sense than reinforcing off-site. The reason being is because if they don't go off-site, then those reinforcements don't support your anchors. Of course, that changes quite a bit if you are defending vertically. One thing that I like a lot are deployable cameras. I think they're very underutilized in ranked, but not so much in the pro scene. This deployable camera is going to see all of this 90 hallway, despite there being a default camera. I'm a big fan of it because that default camera can be removed very easily, just going up white stairs.
Now that sides have switched.
Ash is going to solo entry with the help of some droning from his teammates.
I can't see them getting relic there and punishing.
The thing that I would have liked to see from NVK on Ash here is the use of her breaching round.
On the drone, and there it is. Yeah, the final call. Jarvis goes down through the wall. 1 in bathroom. Melee hole spotted and a freebie for achieved.
Unfortunate that the Pulse is in toilets there and sees the punch hole of Ash. I think Ash maybe got a little ahead of the drone.
Rotate into the main lobby. That from security. That's Necrox.
That or Ash thought she had the jump on Pulse, but well,
if he keeps him in range.
Pulse has a cardiac scanner and knows exactly where you are.
But the phone call is certainly going to make enough noise for Necrox to know about.
Nice solo push from the Doke here. There's no chance for a refrag, so Doke needs to win this gunfight.
And there you go.
Pulse
goes down to Necrox.
nice
play from him.
Isn't really screwed as much as just needs to wait out at Dokkaebi and take more advantageous.
Almost hit that shot into security on the
and take a more advantageous engagement.
A pixel. Yep. Evil Genius is now finding themselves.
I believe the Pulse free peaks, and that's ultimately the reason why he loses that.
For Necrox to know about him, and there you go.
No, it's the Dokkaebi that peeks out.
Enough noise for Necrox to know about him, and there you go.
Nice shots from Necrox.
Nice play from him. Achieved. Thanks.
Anytime there's this double drone from a team, it's a bit concerning because who's acting on the intel?
As well as MD, because they go over to Kitchen. By the way, so
This
far,
time we see the
have
Echo.
not
That'll
seen
probably
anything
force
other than
Ash to swap onto
pitching and
IQ.
billiards, and that trend is going to continue.
We're really just not going to see the other two sites, it seems.
There we go.
Especially
It's actually
for that-
Twitch that switches onto IQ for EG. But what happens is TSM swaps from Echo onto Mozzie.
And forth, like we've seen. Because it gives them the opportunity.
Well
depending on how the
played
board
from
goes, to
TSM if
always
what
be
you
able to
wanted to
back
do
and
there
forth
is force
between
the
those
IQ,
Back and forth, back and forth.
Really?
All right, the volley continues.
though.
No,
When is IQ bad?
It has been a really weird match in terms of
TSM is not going to pick up the Echo.
The combination of
I mean, obviously, some
IQ
part of
and
it is
Dokkaebi is
defense,
quite
like,
underrated
they
actually.
built the strategy
When
around
defenders
Echo
turn off their
potentially
phones during a logic
Because
bomb
was the one
call,
to have that ban
IQ
that
can
they used
see
on
those
Mike for the
phones being
last
turned
ban.
off.
So they might have anticipated Echo being banned. They just had the strats otherwise.
Doubtful that it'll be relevant,
definitely strategize around active,
but it is something to
with
note.
The Echo.
Let's talk reinforcements from TSM here. So we have our default 4 reinforcements on site. That is the connector, as well as the 3 main walls and lobby. There are 2 reinforcements in Sunrise Bar between blue. That's to most likely allow a player to play behind the bar itself. Then a heavy offsite reinforcement strategy. So that's 6 reinforcements. Let's see if I got all of the others. There's a reinforcement on the VIP lounge. That's to deny the angle that can be established to cut off the rotate out of theater. There are reinforcements in theater itself. Let's use the other color. Reinforcements in theater. 1 there, as well as 1 here. We're missing 1 reinforcement, but the important thing is that there were 2 players playing in theater to start, who then create soft destruction and a rotation out of theater in order to escape back down to the first floor. They waste a minute 30. They, in the roamers, and also TSM, waste a minute 30 trying to clear out these players in theater that don't exist there after that minute 30. So I would say the reinforcements that TSM dedicates to offsite definitely help them in delaying that time. It's a 5v5 at 130, and all that really has been established is top floor control from EG. That being said, you still have vertical pressure now being enabled, and it'll be interesting to see if TSM is able to not let any picks happen onto their anchors now that they've given that vertical pressure to EG.
Chief playing it smart though, just delaying.
Bolo goes down and finished off.
So that
by
vertical
Gio
pressure is very
above.
relevant now because it just netted a kill.
That's the first pick for
Oh my gosh, what a mistake. All right, let's look at this interaction between the Jaeger and NVK. Let's just highlight it real quick. So Jaeger shoots some warning shots up onto Ash, who's crouch walking down white stairs. Jaeger then goes for a quick shoulder re-peek, rotates out of security. Ash has the opportunity to throw a stun grenade and push Jaeger, but chooses not to. Probably the best decision just because there's no other teammate there to refrag. NVK gets the frag onto a player who most likely created a bullet hole or a punch hole in blue, that is, in Sunrise. Normally that wall's reinforced. We saw that EG always reinforced it, but TSM chose not to, and so that enables Ash to get that pick there. And then Jaeger decides just to walk back into lobby, not expecting Ash to be expecting him to re-peek through that doorway. Big mistake from Merc on the Jaeger. If that was Merc on Jaeger, it was Merc. A curious 6-pick from both teams, actually, in showing the Maverick and then swapping off to Lion. I just don't think Maverick's that great. Lion makes a lot of sense, as I've noted. The Ella 6 to the Mozzie is also just a little out there.
I
don't think many teams are worried about Ella as an operator.
I don't know. I
And
can't see the future,
EG's bringing
but
Twitch, who can clear out those Grismoths.
TSM has to get a lot of points.
Not a site either of these teams want to go to. So hey, whatever, and that's their choice.
Interesting to see the line also getting brought out here from EG.
This is the powerful thing about Mozzie. It's not that he hacks the drones. That is a really nice thing. When you get a drone, fantastic. The most powerful thing with those pests, though, in my opinion, is just the fact that it stops you from droning cold. You just can't do anything until you clear it out.
It's the fact that you can't jump it.
Yeah, because mute jammers.
Lion can't drone past the office area.
It stops you from droning
Ash
cold.
pinches with a different drone into office in order to relay the line that no one's there. Really good use of drones, and also no need to lose a drone to Mozzie. Will someone capitalize on the position of this player on blue? Looks like Buck is trying to get over there. Never mind. Lots of solo droning from Evil Geniuses. I think it's very easily punished. As I mentioned, Twitch sees the player on blue because she droned up blue. Mozzie is situated on blue. Twitch is supposed to push the player on blue, does so solo, and dies to the Mozzie.
Definitely a tough spot to be.
You want to beat EG, what you want to do is take the drone out and then play an off angle. Reinforcement strategy from TSM on their double bar defense, 2 on pool entrance, 1 in the hallway, 1 on blue bar. Actually, it's the eastmost middle reinforcement in blue bar, and that's because there's some natural cover in this area here, as well as 2 reinforcements in office, so that people can't walk in from office into site. Some soft destruction, foot level, I believe, in courtyard, and that's just to prevent attackers from pushing into courtyard. You also don't have to dedicate 4 reinforcements, I believe. I think it's 4, maybe 3, that you can use elsewhere. And so courtyard shouldn't be a hospitable place for attackers to make their push. Upstairs, TSM reinforces Hookah Lounge and blue. The connector between billiards and hookah, as well as the hallway. I think we're missing 1 reinforcement. I can't remember from the count, but that's what I saw. So there'll be some kind of vertical hold of site, most likely from TSM.
As much as like these players.
Very interesting that Legion is bringing a bulletproof camera and hasn't actually used it quite yet. I'd be interested in seeing where they place it.
Maybe, yeah. If he gets enough mileage out of the goose, then
sounded like blue bar.
Make up for the lack.
I thought Doc was bringing that deployable camera earlier. It's possible that they bring 2 deployable cameras.
Now
defensively,
is playing that vigil without an IQ in play to be able to track him. I mean, we don't always see that happening, but it is certainly some way that you can be tracked. With the Jackal being banned, that is the only way to really.
Vigil using both of his impact grenades so early means that it'll be difficult for him to rotate if he gets pinched. Vigil is a natural counter to the Lion, however, we'll see. I think as a roamer, you normally want to at least have 1 impact grenade so you have options to get out of dodge.
Not literally, but
not the case for Merc on Vigil.
Thought that counts.
So while that Lion scanner is going off, the Vigil can move into a different position, which will be very unexpected for EG, who will rely on that Lion scan detecting any kind of movement.
Definitely making good use of this drone work to
leave that room.
So vertically,
when somebody eventually does
EG has complete control.
Someone like Merc that's going to be on that Vigil.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be the person.
TSM isn't bringing any C4, so any vertical pressure that EG creates, TSM will have to contest horizontally. I think it's very weird that TSM reinforced upstairs if there's not going to be a hold upstairs from the roamers.
Absolutely, but he has
there was barely any resistance.
Grenade's going to try to do some work for him here. Nope, he doesn't need him. But unfortunately, not finishing the job gives him the opportunity to move away, but NVK will finish Merc in the meantime.
Bolo is just healing himself, keeping himself alive. He has dodged death like 3 times now. NVK will be downed elsewhere. A drop from Odiga will work out for him, and 2-fold as he eliminates both Pojo and Bolo. Just Jarvis now, and he's playing a long angle from the bathroom. He'll get 1. He's got 2 lit opponents. The plant going down on default. Odiga's going to have to do some.
As I said before,
close with this
vertical pressure
think Jarvis knows
too
where
much
Omega is,
for
though.
TSM.
Default plan's going to tell him where the other player is as
They
well.
had
Just
at
doesn't
least
peek
3
at the right
players
moment.
sitting in
That's
sight
GG. Evil
with
Geniuses
no way to
take the match.
contest unless they
TSM
retake
close, but just
vertically
not close enough.
and
The
start
end of the second
pushing
half,
horizontally.
it was all attack for EG. TSM could not win a
TSM,
defense no matter
bring
where
some
they
C4.
went.
I don't think we saw a single C4 kill, even with the Pulse earlier.
Huge steamroll, except for when it turned into that 5-2 real quick.
I don't think that utility was being used.
Back, so it's
Let me know if using R6 map guides was better and augmented the VOD analysis. I think it helps a little more than drawing on top of the in-game visual that we see from the observer, just because it's a 2D representation of the map instead of that 3D. From TSM, let's see, what adjustments he made. We won't talk about EG, although, no, we will talk about EG very quickly. On attack, you can punish EG very easily if you play an offside angle when a player is joining for themselves. And we saw that happen. Defensively, it just seemed like they got punished by a crouch walking Ashe twice. And that shouldn't happen. There should be intel. There should be a goo mine there. Whatever you need. I do like that EG brought Echo, whereas TSM didn't. And so now let's talk about TSM. For TSM, if you're going to forfeit vertical pressure onto site, bring a way to contest that vertical pressure. Either hold vertically, which is what you reinforce to do, or bring C4s, because that's a very easy way to safely contest. That's on the defensive side. Also, Echo. Echo brings tons of utility in the fact that he has these cloaked yokai drones, which can relay tons of information. I don't know how useful Bolo on Dock was. You can play Dock on island positions, as I've noted before, because he's able to stem himself, but when did that happen? Other than that one time we saw Bolo get down to Insight.
Prep
on attack,
of the billiards room.
Merc was able to crouch walk as Ashe, but outside of her 3-speed silent step, if you will, where did the utility go for bringing the Ashe? I don't know. Habana, this time around, on Consulate, TSM doesn't use Habana at all, but on Coastline, there's a clear focus for opening lots of horizontal lines of sight with Buck and Habana, which is great because that creates tons of pressure in this donut map. Jarvis on Gridlock might not be the move. I don't know where the track stingers were used. I don't know if the track stingers were used. The Lion seemed to be a lot more effective. I mean, based on the lineups from TSM, it seems like they just don't have a player that's comfortable throwing a C4, because C4 would have helped a lot with both of the first floor defenses. Thank you for watching. Once again, leave any feedback. It's always appreciated. And take care.